Bitcoin is looking real interesting right now. I'm going to show you guys the wave counts, the structures. I'm going to show you guys where it's a good time to maybe unload some positions, to open up a short, how high can we possibly go, and what resistance levels we got looking forward as well. So we're going to jump straight into it, guys, because Bitcoin is moving and it's finally going up to previous resistance. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about because we got a lot of bullish news. We got a big whale making $250 million Bitcoin move. We have some other positive news. It's just we got a little shift in macro like economic news for Bitcoin, and the vibe is changing, right? But is it changing for the better or for the worse? So we're gonna go over the bigger picture. We're gonna jump into the smaller pictures. How high can we possibly go? What warning signs there are? And I'm gonna show you guys everything right now. So to get started, we know that Bitcoin has been trading sideways for a while. It had a break of structure to the downside once we have some tariff news primarily, pushing the price lower, trying to test that CME gap, so sub 80K dip right here, super deep value, big rally, and then we had another sub 80K deep value dip. And now we're starting to move sideways once again. You guys got to remember though that these big dips during bull markets are very well identified through three wave patterns, right? So we have quite simply from the start of the new structure from when it broke the trend, we have a first wave in, a second wave in, and now we're trying to complete this third wave back into deep value once again. But what are the signs that this third wave is going to actually fulfill itself? How high can we go? And what can ruin that third wave to instead push us higher to the bullish side? And we can be looking at a more, a more positive outlook for higher prices, right? So basically, after reaching this area down here, we respected support levels very well, both on resistances and extensions. So we have so we had a move up. This is the first wave. We had a second wave supportive correction, which actually maxed out this retracement area quite well. We pushed up past the 1 week liquidity at this time and created a resistance. At that time, we maxed out pretty much the next retracement area quite well, showed bullishness by surpassing this yellow fib retracement area quite well, broke previous resistance right here, which acted as support briefly, and now we're going back down. So what this looks like, right, in the bullish pathway is we are looking at strong support holding. It held quite well. It kept trying to hold above the 120 moving average, had another retest at the 83.6K level before pushing up higher. So right now, we have a third wave that's still unfolding. So as you guys can see, we have the first wave in, second wave in, third wave. In order for this wave to prove healthy and to prove bullish, we want to see the price break past these resistance lines right here and go into the green area. At this point, we can identify a third wave. Once we have a third wave, it will be very easy to get a fourth wave and then a potential 5 wave, which can bring us easily over 100K. But what can ruin this move higher? Well, that's the possibility of Bitcoin potentially having that third deep value dip back below sub 80K level. And what that can look like is a fail to complete a proper third wave will result in this very bullish consistent uptrend all getting destroyed and breaking below this 0.618 at 80K would be the start of the third wave into much deeper prices. So what we want to see, and this is very important for Bitcoin and anyone trying to take a trade right now, is that RSI is very much maxed out on the hourly time frame. We have plenty of consolidation in this area, which can act as a magnet, pushing the price higher into 99 or roughly 89K plus all the way up to like 99. K can be all the way up here as we surpass that fifth wave. But right now, what we're looking for is trying to see if we can get it into the high 80s, low 90s as a strong indication that, hey, we potentially are trying to complete the bottom and move higher. So right now, what I'm looking for, and this is what I'm personally doing, is I want to either take a long or short trade. Right now, I do have some BitU positions running in the background to try to capture any potential upside up to the third wave. If we do, and this is the tricky part too, if we do go up to this third wave, we really want to see where investor sentiment is at and what the liquidation heat map looks like at that point. Because if we go up to this area, this can create a lot of FOMO, which will increase leveraged position across exchanges, and that can easily wipe out the price and come back down as a correction to complete this fourth wave. This fourth wave will be determined by any potential imbalances or strong support areas that we have once we complete the third wave. If instead we fail to crush this resistance area in orange and we come down, what we want to see is support. So this is the major support right here. Besides the 120 moving average, we have this from the start of the bottom, we have an uptrend. We're trying to measure this entire uptrend as far up as it can go with this retracement level. This retracement level will be the main indication of support. If we break below this, there is not really much support until we have another deep, dip below 80K. The thing is, though, that this fluctuation, although a little messy, looks very, very similar to the one we had down here, where we had a second wave that was deeper into deep value than the first one, and then the third one comes down and finds a higher low than here, indicating a potential reversal. And we did have a reversal. We started making an uptrend from that point. So the question is, and this will become very much clear when the price action begins to form, but if we do come down, the question is, are we going to find support within this red retracement area, which is an extension area that we had a while back, find support a little bit higher around 79 to 80K, or are we going to come down and try to go between 70 and 75K? That's the big question, right? If we do amazing buying opportunity, no brainer, right? But what we want to see is more upside to complete this third wave, because if we do, we can just determine that this low is in. We have enough bullishness to reach this area, create a fourth wave, which will indicate strong support before we can get a fifth wave that will be above 100K. But again, guys, keeping track of this is very important to, in my opinion, to have those background long positions to capture any more upside. And then I'm personally looking to potentially do a little bit of short day trading until we get a fourth wave in. So when we complete the third wave, I want to try to capture downside momentum to a fourth wave before we can go ahead and pump any higher. That short-term trading will reduce risk of potentially the fourth wave failing and us going back down into the low 80s. And that is something I want to try to avoid. But as of right now, price action is strong. We're above the 120 moving average regardless of the RSI. And we are starting to test. So it starts at basically 87.4K. We're going to start testing this retracement area to see if we have enough bullishness to go up into the green extension, which will be the third wave top for this overall first wave. So this overall first wave can extend very high before we have a second wave correction, and then a strong overall third wave that will bring us up probably around 130K at the moment, but we're not going to know that until we have more price action to determine and show that evidence. So as of right now, guys, I'm just waiting. I want to see if we can reach this area so I can start offloading longs, build up on some shorts to try to take advantage of a corrective fourth wave move. If not, if we fail and start going down lower, I want to start accumulating more longs at deep value. But until then, we just got to keep a close eye on these levels, see if they're gonna fail. If they do fail, we can easily go up into the low 90s and complete a third wave, guys. So that's basically what I'm looking for. These are very, very important structures because this is going to indicate rather the low is in, or maybe we're going to have one more third deep value low before we can finally determine sub 80K levels to be completely gone. But it is a little too early to tell. Again, retracement areas very, very important before we can complete a third wave, and then from there we can start looking at a continuation of the bullish trend. But remember, Bitcoin is very volatile, especially during times of fear, and we want to make sure that we have that backwind to try to confirm that this low is in. But it's very important to be cautious, and risk management is very, very important. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. It's something I'm gonna be keeping an eye on, especially throughout this week. It's a very important week because we are getting close to the end of the month, and Q2 is just around the corner, right? So we're gonna see a lot of big changes in these structures real soon. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video and take care.